Hello. In this video, we will talk about Commvault DR and Backup solution, what are its components, and what are the related feature set we get from the Commvault. So here we start. Why Commvault is that important? So let's take an example of a data center wherein we have a server on which an application is running. Now, there are multiple users who are accessing this application, and primarily this application is for those financial transactions where logs and everything related to the transaction are also stored in the server. Let's say one day, because of some issue or challenge, fire breaks out and this server, rather complete data center, is down. Now, this is where the problem arises without the Commvault. Because of the fire, the problem is first is the financial loss for the organization and the customer. And in addition to that, we have a reputation damage also happening for the organization or the company which is hosting this server or application. And lastly, there may be the legal implications also, or a regulatory non-compliance because we don't have a backup in place. That is where Commvault comes into picture. In this case, what happens is a backup of that application of the server is kept either in a DR location, a cloud location like S3, or maybe blob storage in Azure, or the backup location wherein all the data has been saved. Now, since the data center is not available, so immediately with the help of Commvault, a replica is created, and for business continuity, the same application is set up here, which has been backed up frequently towards this backup location. Now, once this is set up, then the users can access the same application but in a different location with the latest of all the logs and information being available, all the transactions that has happened. And this is where Commvault is very important, that it helps in business continuity and running of the services at a backup location or a DR location, so that the financial loss, reputation, and the legal implication are taken care of. Now let's understand key functions of the Commvault. The first one is backup and a recovery. In this case, we can have a full backup, incremental backup, differential backup, or even the synthetic backup. These are different type of backups which can be carried out via the help of Commvault. It can be for a VM, it can be for a database, or for the full server. The second feature set or other function of Commvault is the disaster recovery. As we saw in the last slide, wherein a business continuity was provided by replicating the workload over to a remote location so that the secondary site can erect that same server or same application for the business continuity to happen. The third point is the centralized management plane, which can be provided by Commvault so that storage policies, rules like retention, everything can be taken care of via the centralized single pane of glass. Deduplication. Deduplication is about optimization, and in this case the benefit is, with the help of deduplication, a technique which is used in Commvault, the bandwidth which is required between client to media server or media agent that is required, it reduces drastically down. And in fact, the storage requirement also comes down with the help of deduplication. Next is the security part of it. There are some key requirement like encryption or maybe role-based access which is required, or regulatory compliance. Everything is taken care with respect to data protection by Commvault. The Commvault architecture. There are three key pillars of the Commvault architecture, which include the COM server, the media agent, and the client. Now, the COM server is the brain or the orchestrator of the Commvault environment. It keeps track of all the components which are part of the architecture. In addition to that, all the info related to client backups, resource availability, everything is stored in a database on the COM server. The second key component is the media agent. It is a separate server, and in addition to that, it has a disk library which it connects to for storing data. And this is the disk library. It can be disk storage, tape storage, or maybe cloud storage like S3 bucket, or maybe blob storage in case of the Azure. Lastly is the client. Client has the agents installed on it which are used to communicate with OS and with the applications. Now that we have understood the high level understanding of the architecture of Commvault, let's see some of the use cases, some of the scenario where all the three components communicate to each other. Scenario 1 of the backup. In case of backup, the ComServe initiates the backup job for the client, and here the client sends the file to the media agent. Scenario 2 is for the restore function of the file. In this scenario, the client asks the COM server for the media agent so that the restore for the files on the client can happen. Next, COM server informs the media server about the restore of the client that has to be done, and then media agent starts sending the data towards the client. Once all the restore has happened and everything has settled, then the client informs the COM server about the completion of the job. Now it's important to understand that the actual data of that stored data in the disk, tape, or the cloud library is sent by the media agent towards the client. However, only the signaling and the control information is happening between the client of the COM server or COM server to the media agent. Rest, actually the data is traversing between the media agent and the client. So this is all about Commvault, its components, and the traffic flow for restore or the backup. Hope this video was informative and you liked it. Thank you.